What is going on, YouTube? Today we are taking a look at another Magic the Gathering deck. Today's deck is going to be black. Alright, so this deck theme is it's called Black Weenie, Stompy, whatever you want to call it. It's full of small casting cost creatures that get out real fast and attack real fast. So I'll go through each of the cards as normal, show what they do, and then we'll play play test and call it good. So first off, we got Dark Ritual. Remember, as before, I told you this is a staple for any black deck, or I mean, unless you you can probably do any deck, and it doesn't have to be black, but as long as you can produce black mana, this is still a really good card. So Dark Ritual, like I said, staple. Of course, we got Swamps. Diabolic Edict. This one here is probably one of my favorite ways to get rid of creatures. Is the target player sacrifices a creature. So you throw this at them, and they have to decide which creature they want to sacrifice instead of you targeting it. So it's a non-targetable creature killer, right? When it comes to you deciding the creature. So very good, effective card. So let's say your opponent has a creature with Mystic Veil on it, right? Mystic Veil says the creature can't be targeted by instants or sorcery spells. Now, you can't target it, right? But if you like throw this out and say, all right, here, you got to sacrifice a creature, that player has to get rid of the creature with the Mystic Veil on it because you told them they had to do it, right? So this is really good, effective card to get rid of creatures. Then we got another Swamp. No Diabolic Edict, and then we got Ascendant Evincar. So yeah, this is a bigger creature. You know, so chances are I probably won't get this out, but it's a nice little creature because look at what it does. It's got flying. It's a 3/3 flyer. Other black creatures get +1/+1, and non-black creatures get -1/-1. So when you're playing a straight black deck, you know this makes your creatures real big, and you can get them out pretty easily with the Dark Rituals if you have a few of them ready to go. You know, on standby. And then it makes all your small creatures get big, right? So it's like a bad moon. If you're not sure what that is, it's one colorless, one black. Gives all your creatures all your black creatures +1/+1 enchantment. But that's all black creatures, right? So is this one. So if you're playing against a black deck, this card will give them also +1/+1. So you gotta be careful against for which deck you're playing this against. Another swamp, and then we got these Dauthi Slayer. Dauthi Slayer has a special ability on it called Shadow, right? And if you see there, it says this creature can block or be blocked by only creatures with Shadow, and it attacks each turn if able. So what makes this guy good is that nobody plays Shadow, ever. So you can make this guy really big, and then attack with him every time, and the player cannot block it. So it's very good, effective weenie creature to play against another opponent. Then we have Knight of Stromgold. This is a Pump Knight, is what they call it. So you can put it has protection from white. So you can put 2 black into it and give it +1/+0 until end of turn, or you can give it 1 black and give it first strike until end of turn. And for those of you who do not know what first strike is, that means that when you attack and someone blocks, this creature does its damage first. So, like for example, say I had this guy, my opponent had this person out, right? This creature out right here, okay? And I made this guy really big with a +1/+0, and then gave him first strike and attacked. This guy blocked. So if my creature was big enough to deal 3 damage to it, then this one would die. This one would still be considered blocked, but this one would die and this one would not. Whereas a creature that didn't have first strike, they would both die. Okay, so one creature would do damage to the other one. So that's what makes this guy pretty good and effective, is because you can use your open mana as a fast effect or instant ability to make this guy first strike or give him +1/+0 until end of turn. So very good card. another swamp, and then we have Hypnotic Specter. Now this one was a very good card back in the day. It's still a pretty good card today. I'm not sure if it got reprinted in Type 2 or anything like that, but this one is a 2/2 flyer for 3 black. So it's a really good first turn creature, because you look at that, and you can get your Dark Ritual on and then throw this guy out. And then you can start attacking, right, with a 2/2 flyer. And if this guy does damage to a player, that player gets to discard a card at random. So what does that random mean? Well, it means basically what they do is they fan out their hand like this, right? And then you pick the card out of their hand at random. So it just, like they could say like 1 through 5, and you could say, okay, well, I want to take number 3 card or something like that. And they could put their hand flat on the table and do it like that. So a good effective card to get rid of cards, discard wise. Because as y'all know, hand advantage, card advantage, anything like that is a good thing to have when you're playing against an opponent. Another Dauthi Slayer. Another swamp. Hypnotic Specter. Some more swamps. Another Dauthi creature. This one's Dauthi Horror. It's a 2/1 shadow, and it can't block. Or excuse me, cannot be blocked by a white creature. So if there was a white shadow creature in play that your opponent had, then they could block this guy. But they can't block it anyway unless they have shadow creatures. Next we have the Black Knight. This one pretty much a staple in a black deck if you're building a Weenie Stompy black deck. It's a 2/2 first strike for 2 black and protection from white, so it's great. Now, as far as the protection from white, if you guys aren't sure what that means, basically if a player you're playing has a white card or a multicolored card with white in it, then this cannot be blocked if you attack with it. So this makes this guy pretty powerful in a in any black deck, you know, because you have the first strike ability. You can make him bigger by putting enchantments on him. It doesn't cost a whole lot. You can get him out real fast, and he has protection from white. So pretty good card. This is Order of Ebon Hand. It pretty much does the same thing that a Knight of Stromgold does. Protection from white and the pump ability. It just came out of a different set, which is Fallen Empires. That's what that little crown is right there. Will of the Wisp is just a damage soaker. Now, if you have trample coming against you, this really isn't that effective. However, if it's not trample, then it's perfect. So if you had your big, you know, worms or your giants or something like that, it didn't have any trample, and they attacked you, you could block with this creature and then regenerate it. So 0/1 flyer for 1, block regen constantly. So pretty good damage soaker. This one is probably one of my favorite cards out of this set. I think it's Exodus. It's a 2/2 for 1. During your upkeep, pay 1 life or you tap Carnophage. So, I mean, you're always going to take damage if you want to attack with this guy. However, if you were to get this guy out and 2 Unholy Strengths on him on the first turn with a Dark Ritual, you're talking a 6/4 on the first turn. It's just ridiculous, right? So yeah, it's kind of like a Juzam Jin. Remember we talked about that in one of the previous videos. Juzam Jin on the first turn on this guy if you were to get those Unholy Strengths on him. So a pretty good card. Another Dark Ritual, different artwork. Hypnotic Specter. Another Order, some more Will of the Wisp, Knight of Stromgold, Diabolic Edict, so on and so forth. Okay, so here's the other Specter. Now this one was Type 2 for a while the other one wasn't. Now I know this has been ages ago, as you can see that's 8th edition, right? So this one is a flying 2/3, and whenever Abyssal Specter deals damage to the player, a player discards a card from his or her hand. Now, understand this one isn't at random. The player just has to do it. So it's not as good as the Hypnotic Specter, because as a Hypnotic Specter, you get to pull the card out of their hand at random. This one just says they have to discard a card. So it could be any card in their hand they could discard. It could be something that they can't afford to play right now. It could be a land, could be anything, right? So not as good as the Hypnotic Specter, not to mention it costs more. It costs 4 instead of 3. But still, good effective card to get out. Plus it's a flyer, so it have flying damage, which, you know, in on itself is difficult to block unless you have something that's flying to block it. There's that Unholy Strength that I was telling you about. So 2/1, right? 2/1 enchantment for a creature. So like I was telling you with this Carnophage, imagine, right? So you got one swamp, you know, one swamp, one dark ritual. Sorry about all the sniffling, guys. I got really bad allergies this season. So this, let's say this is your hand you draw on the first go, right? This is your hand. So you play your swamp, you play your dark ritual. Remember dark ritual, 3 black mana, all right? Now we got our Carnophage, our 2/2, +2/+1, and +2/+1. So now we got a very big creature on the first turn for only 3 mana. See? So 6/4. You must attack each turn unless you have to pay 1 life. So not too bad. See, but you see what I mean about being a kind of like a baby Juzam, whereas a Juzam is a 5/5, not a 6/4, and it costs 4. But this one, baby Juzam, meaning like you have to pay the 1 life, and it's only a 2/2 by itself, right? So still very cool card to have in any black Weenie deck. Some more swamps. One last order. Another Diabolic Edict. the-Wisp. Hypnotic Specter. Dauthi Horror. Black Knights. Where's their Black Knights? Here they are. Dauthi Horror again. Slayer. Another Ascendant Evincar. Black Knight. Dauthi Slayer. Other side here. Unholy Strength. And Black Knight. 2 more swamps. Okay. So, there we go. So there's pretty much the black Weenie deck that I was telling you about. And this is what it looks like. Okay? With the Carnophages in there. Or the 1 Carnophage in there. And 1 more Unholy Strength. Missed it. Alright. Also have a sideboard for terrors. It's another good way to get rid of creatures. But if you're playing against a black deck, it's not going to work because, you know, this one can't target black creatures, right? Or artifact creatures. So, still a good one to get rid of. So, after you play a hand and you choose a sideboard, I'd probably take out, let me see. I'd probably take these guys out. Because I already have those Pump Knights over there. So, I take these Pump Knights out and put these terrors in for a sideboard. Okie doke. Now, let's mana step this thing and do ourselves a playtest. Let's see how long it takes us to get through 20 life. You know, I've always had a interest in playing black because, 1, it's just crazy damage, really fast. You know, I'd say probably, it's obviously not better than red when it comes to dealing damage because, you know, red's direct damage and it comes out pretty fast. But it's still really good as far as you get a lot more for what you pay for when it comes to mana cost and your creatures. Because you have a lot of good abilities on them. Not to mention you have the Diabolic Edicts, which get rid of creatures, which is great in itself. And you have those terrors, too, if you need. You know, some people will play with higher dollar cards and whatever, but this is more of a budget build that I got here. I mean, this whole deck you can probably get right now for, I don't know, maybe with the Hypnotic Specters, probably the most expensive card in here. Maybe that. I don't know, you can probably get this deck $30 maybe, $30, $40, depending on what card set you got some of those from. Like the-Wisp, you know, you could go really expensive if you were to try to get those from Alpha, Beta, Unlimited. But if you go like Revised, 4th edition, 5th edition, something like that, or any other edition, it's probably going to be a little less expensive. Now I know this one would probably do better if it had Bad Moons in it, But Bad Moons are expensive, and I built this one to be more of like a budget build, and it works pretty good. You know, I can take down a pretty strong deck against this one without much problem. So most people, they like to mana sep to try to get their cards separated. I mean, nobody wants to draw a huge mana pocket up when they're playing in a tournament. I've seen it happen, and I've had it happen to me. It's not pleasant. All you can do is sit there and just get beat to death. Alright, so shuffle it up here and we'll play test it and see what we got. Obviously, offer your cuts. There's 20 right there. Now, I know you probably saw there's one Carnophage in there. I'd like to get 4. I think I have 4, 3 more in like another deck. Maybe 4 in another deck, and I made this one and I wanted to have 4, but I ran out. I think I have 5 total. 1 in this deck and maybe 4 in another deck. But alright, there's 7. Let's see what we got here. Okay, first turn. We got land and a will-o'-the-wisp. Okay, and that's all we can do, right? Yep. First turn, land, will-o'-the-wisp. Second turn. I'm gonna put a counter on the turns here so you can see. So, okay, second turn. We're gonna play a Unholy Strength on the will-o'-the-wisp. All right. We're going to attack for 2. So that puts that person at 18. Alright. Third turn. Draw up. Land drop. And we're going to play another Unholy Strength. So that makes this a 4/3 flyer. And we're also going to play a Black Knight. Attack for 4. 14. Wow, these allergies are getting me. Alright. Turn 4. Okay, so missed the land drop this time. That's not good. But we do have 2 creatures you can play. So look at that. For turn, 4 creatures. And 4 flying and 2 on the ground. So that is 6. So now they're at 8. Alright. Alright, this is turn 5. Untap. And no land drop again. Attack. There's 4, 6, 8. I gotta take 1 damage and 10. So dead. So 5 turns. 5 turns. Pretty fast with 3 land. So this deck operates with 3 land. You know, and you can get them down faster if you had a better draw. But as you can tell, I remember I missed like 2 land drops there, and I had these 2 cards left to play. So this one, really need to get two Dark Rituals in your hand, or just get really lucky with the land if you really want to play this one. That's why I only had 2 in here. I've been trying to see if this is really worth keeping in here, but because you should be focusing on doing as much damage as quick as possible and trying to get them dead. And this one kind of draws back on that a little bit because it costs so much to get out. So I probably should find a different card to put in here, maybe like that. There's another Knight that costs 3. I can't remember what he's called, but he's a rare out of one of the sets, and he's got protection from white and red, I believe. And he's a black, some type of Black Knight. I don't remember what it's called though. But it'd be nice to like maybe get those and take these guys out. But yeah, that's it. The Black Weenie deck, right? So I'll put the card list in the description so you guys can follow if you want to make your own. And please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about this. If I can make it better, what I could do to maybe take the card size or the deck size down to weed out some stuff that's not there. anyways, that's it, man. The black Weenie deck. So you guys take care, and thanks for watching. See you next time.